just noticed me mandarin tree here has it's not got as many mandarins as it usually has on it each year. I don't generally send them off. They're getting quite big, and you can see some of them are actually starting to get their orange color, so they are looking amazing. So the size of them it's a good size mandarin. Now last year these mandarins were quite sour, so I'm not sure what that was due to. I probably need to do some fertilizing of the tree. I don't generally fertilize them too much, but yeah, so these guys will be a few weeks off yet, but then we will have some mandarins to bring in and eat. It's going to be awesome again. Hopefully these taste better than last year. So you can see they're really starting to get their color, which is amazing. This is quite a big tree, so it can be quite difficult to actually harvest from the top, but it's a beautiful tree. So I thought I'd just come out and check the rain gauge. It's sitting at about 30 mils of rain that we've had since the weekend. Today is Thursday, so in the last 4 days we've had a fair amount of rain. I also thought I'd just come and check up on the peas and see if they have started to germinate yet, and I am seeing the signs of life in here. This is looking awesome. So these is the snow peas coming up. I'm not sure about the germination rate in here yet until they get a bit bigger, but we have life in the ground happening. Now the peas, I'm not seeing anything in this line of peas just as yet. They may take a little bit longer. They haven't been in the ground an awful length of time. I think it was last weekend I put them in. Something has eaten this one. Same with this one. Something has eaten them. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this line of peas yet. And this one, that's a rock. Again, I'm not seeing. Oh, hang on. Just here, there's one there. So these guys are probably a little bit behind. Oh, there's another one. So these peas are a little bit behind the snow peas. Again, I can see where something has eaten some of my seeds. There's another one. So hopefully in the next couple of days, you can see this is the amount of rain that we've had. It is pushing my peas out of the ground, but they are starting down this end, they are starting to grow. So it's a bit of a pity they've come out of the ground, but there's not a lot, and this is more eaten out of here as well. There's not a lot I can do about it. I mean, I can cover them up, but we've still got more rain coming in, so they're probably going to end up uncovered again anyway. So the other 3 lot of peas are doing really quite well. I do need to get out here and what's up, Mr. Elvie, and stand these guys up again. Looks like my line has dropped somewhat as well, so I just need to lift that up, tie that up off of this one. But a lot of them are really now starting to reach the second run, and like you can see, these ones here need to be pulled up and tied up to the top run as well. Looks like there might be a little bit of something eating in here. You guys need to be not attached to that. But yeah, so they're coming along. Not all the pea plants are going to be successful this year, and all this rain has causing my weeds to be growing. So this was the other line that I put in the second half of this line. Again, I'm not seeing the germination yet, but we will just have to wait and see. So these guys, you can see they've actually hit the second run. So that's about a foot now that they are up at, and it seems to be doing quite well as well. And the last row, hey Mr. Care Bear. Again, still with all this wind and that rain we've had, they are falling over. But I will get peas out of here. Maybe not as many as I wanted, but you can see here, this has either been eaten or broken off. So pea plants can be quite hard to keep them growing upright because they're quite soft and they'll just lean over, especially in the winds that we've had around here recently. So, and as you can see, the weeds in the walkway are getting way bigger than the actual pea plants themselves. The weather hasn't allowed me to start on the project in here at Melonball yet. Hoping for some warmer days. Some not so much warmer, but no clouds. Rain again has caused a complete stop in the weeding of climbing bean, and these weeds just keep growing and keep growing. So in baked spud here, I still haven't harvested that cabbage, but it's a good example to show you what happens to a cabbage if you just let it sit, where it will just start to split. So maybe I'll bring that into the house soon and get that used up. Capsicums are still producing madly in this cold weather. This one, you can see he's not doing too crash hot. He's got some issues happening. He's not looking too healthy. Got some tiny little snails. So some of these aren't looking too healthy. This is a chili plant, another chili plant. We have some capsicums that are still getting nice in some size here. The little black marks, I would assume, is just due to the cold, but they are still looking quite healthy considering how cold it's been getting here at night time. We've been having between 6 to 10 degrees, which is quite cold. The passion fruit, the ones that did fruit have still got fruit on them. They still have not ripened up, so I'm not sure how they're going to get on. This is the first time we've had passion fruit in here, so but they're climbing up the framework nicely. This one has actually reached the top, and not sure where we're going to go from there. We might have to redirect it. That tomato plant that I still did not clean out of here, he has come back with a vengeance considering the time of year. I'm actually really surprised. It is an indeterminate tomato. I would say that this is a grosslisi, and you can see it actually has flowers on it, and I can actually see a tomato, little tiny tomato fruit. Yes, this is laying on the ground because this is just where it's growing now, and I'm just going to let it go and see what it does over winter. And this one over here, which I thought had completely died, but as you can see, we have snails as well as tomatoes. Tomatoes that are starting to change colour. This, I think, is also a grosslisi, and some more down here as well. So yeah, it's kind of the wrong time of year for tomatoes. I can see a couple more down in the back there. But yeah, it's just a curious way to just let it go and see what happens. The cauliflower, broccoli are getting really nice and big. They're probably about a foot tall, most of them now, and looking really good. Strawberry Hill. So up here at Strawberry Hill, we're going to take a quick look at the spinach and the carrots that are. So you can see these guys are doing really, really well. These rounder leaves that you can see, they are their true leaves coming on. So we're going to get a fair amount of spinach out of here. Just realised it's rock has rolled in. So yeah, and you can see the basil and the parsley is doing really well on the other end. It's definitely time for harvesting. So in here, this is, from memory, this is the top weight carrots we put in here. So it's pretty good germination rate in here. We'll get a lot of nice carrots out of here as well. And in this one, this was the new variety I put in, which is the different coloured carrots. And yeah, again, the germination rate in here is looking really good, so we should get a decent amount of carrots out of here as well. And a quick look at the sweet potato. You can see the sweet potatoes coming back. I still need to weed in here, but you can see that this is coming back. There is a video out now on the sweet potatoes that I harvested out of this garden bed. That you can check that out. So down here, oh no, we have an issue. Hopefully this does not hurt my... Alright, they seem to be alright. Let's make sure this lid is on. I'd say the wind, we've had some wind, so it's probably picked it up and dumped it on top. So, alright, so they are growing extremely slowly up in this garden bed. You can see the snow peas at the back are coming along. So this is about another week's worth of growth. Some of these guys are starting to get their true leaves in. This is the spinach, the other variety of spinach I put in. And there is a few of the shallots that are starting to come up. So this is the different varieties of lettuce that I put in, cutting lettuce. And I have just spotted something I do not want in my garden. Little caterpillar. I would think he's pretty full up because he's not moving. Let's get him out of there before he eats anything else. Come here. I don't really like picking up bugs. So these guys are starting to get looking really good in here now. These are the ones we just found the lid on. That hasn't seemed to have caused too much problems, except for not getting a lot of rain. And this is the other lot of lettuce we put in, also starting to look really good. The spinach is really now starting to take off. This is the spinach that I transplanted. There is a video out on that as well, if you want to take a look at how I transplanted spinach that had been in the garden for about, I think it was about 4 months from memory. And then I just transplanted them out, and they are looking really quite good, getting a lot of nice leaves on them. And you see there's a few in here, and this one here, and these couple here, and this one here. They are voluntary lettuces, and they are doing quite well. So the onions are coming up, finally coming up. These guys are about, I don't know, an inch tall, inch and a half tall now. They're very scarce. You can see there's some little ones that have germinated recently in here, but they're not doing anywhere near as well as they have done previously. Now, I don't know whether that's due to the seed packet, or whether that's due to the soil, or whether it's just due to the weather getting cold really quite quickly here. So yeah, so they're not doing crash hot. but like I said before, there's not a lot you can actually do. So this is the headed lettuce that's growing in here, and it is still growing. I'm still not sure which ones are the weeds and which ones are not weeds. This one is definitely a weed, and so I'll just let them go. This is the other spinaches, doing really well as well. I'm very close to picking off some and using them. You can see that there's some snail damage in here. I usually don't worry about it too much. I thought I saw one, but they are doing really quite well. They are very nice, thick, large leaves, as you can see there. So I'm going to get a fair bit out of there. This is the pak choi again. I'm seeing a little bit of munchy happening here. So I'm not sure. Sometimes if I look around the edges, I can actually find the culprit. And I'm not seeing the culprit today, so he must be coming from somewhere. This is the other lot of carrots that I put in. Again, the germination rate is looking pretty good in here. And you can see there's quite a few coming up. And I think there's some more have come up recently since last week. So looks like there's going to be a few more carrots happening in here. And this is the onion, same thing happening in here. There is a few more newer ones germinating in here as well, little ones. But like I said before, they are not doing that crash hot this year. So onions are going to be probably on my shopping list this year when I go to the shop. So the middle beds here, these are the onions that are transplanted out of the greenhouse. They are doing really well. Even the ones that the cat dug up, they've put back in and they're doing really well. And you can see all the spinach is just taking off nicely in the middle here as well. So yeah, it's a slow process over the last few weeks of them growing, but they are slowly getting there. We've had way more rain and cloudy days than we've had sunny days, so I think that is just slowing up their growing process, because it's not really warm enough and encouraging them to grow. So we're just going to get in the greenhouse, check out those tomatoes, capsicum and chili plants that we've got happening in here. I have actually bought a thermometer to come in here, but it's up at the house, so I'll have to bring it down next time with me. So not a lot changed in here in the way of the chili and capsicums. This one's still not changed at all, but they are doing all right in here. They are still moist, don't need water. So this little tomato, you can see from last week how much bigger his little leaves are getting. I might just turn him sideways so you can see a bit better. So maybe next week I will take these two off that I'm planning on removing that have the yellowing on them, when these get that little bit bigger. Now I'm going to need to tie him off shortly. You can see our little tie that we put for his scythe growth. You can see in the week he has grown about 1 inch to 2 inches, so he is growing, which is good. Now the broccoli that's still in here, I still have the bugs that are on them, whatever they are, I'm not sure, but they are looking all right. The ground's still moist, so we don't need to water. So yeah, I'm not sure why that's doing that. But if these don't end up out in the garden, it's not a huge issue, because I have quite a few out there anyway. Leek is getting almost to the point of being tall enough. I probably want them to go about another probably another 1 to 2 inches before I put them out. So, and the tomato plant, last but not least, the little tomato plant that is blooming and blossoming so well in here. Now that he's gotten to the size he's gotten to, I'm going to remove some of these bottom leaves. So I'm just basically reducing the amount of leaves on the bottom of this plant by taking some of them off, which will stop any diseases that are in the soil going into the tomato plant itself. So yes, I might leave those other two and see how it goes. But yes, so this is the tie off point I had to tie him off with. This was our first marker that we put in, and I'm going to put another marker on here, guys, because this thing is just growing. The tomatoes, the flowers are starting to open. I'm not worried because these guys are self-pollinating, so they will pollinate themselves for the tomatoes being in the greenhouse. Now, when I was in here last weekend, this plant had grown about the width of my hand, so about here. And as you can see, he is now higher than that, and there was a good hand width, more than a good hand width, between the top of the plant and the greenhouse. So I also need to put another support on here to hold him up, and he is so close to the top of this and the roof. There's only this much room now. So between now and next weekend, I'm going to have to get this guy sorted and down here on this rack and off of the bench, because he needs more room to grow. But he is looking absolutely awesome. So I have moved that tomato plant into the rack here. So I've just taken the two bottom shelves out. It's still sitting on the very, very bottom one. And I'm going to leave this one in here to help hold the pole so that doesn't fall over. And it should just grow up through these holes because they're quite big holes. If it struggles with that, I will take that wreck out, but at the moment I'm leaving it at that. So just getting a bit of a height idea for you guys so you can see each week. It is almost the height of the rack that's there and the pole, and doing really lovely. So he's in there now, all ready to go, and we'll just get him keep going in there, and maybe he might reach the roof. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Alright guys, so that is this week's catch up. Just a quick catch up to show you how things are growing. They are growing really slowly, and I do think that, like I've just said, that it is due to the lack of sun that they're getting this time of year. And you can see behind me, it is just clouds everywhere. So we are not getting enough sun for these guys to take off quicker. If we can get a couple of days of sunlight into these guys, that would be amazing, to actually be able to do that so that they can take off and actually get a bit bigger and grow up into some beautiful veggies to be eaten. So I'm just going to show you one more of my fruit trees today. This is an orange tree. This orange tree, like the mandarin tree and all the rest of the fruit trees here, have been here longer than we have, for 12 years. So they are 12 plus years old, and you can see that it is coming into orange season. These are not the biggest oranges. Last year I got enough off of here to do orange juice with, and some, I don't think I made jam last year, but you can see they're starting to orange up. And there is quite a lot on this tree. I think it's actually starting to bend over due to the weight of the fruit. So you can see more in there. So these guys will be, they're usually ready around the same time the mandarins are. So I usually have mandarins and oranges to deal with pretty much within a week or so of each other. But they too are looking awesome. This tree looks like it's big, but it's not, because it's actually set up off this is a retainer wall here, You can see it better down there, but at the moment it's covered in grass. So it's about 2 foot off the ground. So when I stand down here, it looks big. But if I actually go up around the back here, it's actually not as big a tree as it looks. So you can see this is the trampoline. So it's about the same height as one of those, the big round trampolines. Wow, there's some leaves in there. I think we need to clean that off. So yes, it's not the biggest orange tree, but it produces enough for us. I don't know what type of orange tree it is. They are beautiful oranges. But it's enough for us to do some bits and pieces for. Alright guys, that's our quick little catch up this weekend. I have done it a little bit early because I'm going to be busy over the weekend trying to do some other stuff in the house, and because I can't get out into the garden anyway because of the rain. The weather is still not clearing up. So I just thought I'd do a quick run through and show you how it is. Alright guys, from a little patch down here, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next vid.